Huh?
Do you know Anthony?
No. I don't know, like half the people in there. There you go, Gary. It's sending. Give it a minute.
Can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Huh?
Do you know Anthony?
No. I don't know, like half the people in there. There you go, Gary. It's sending. Give it a minute.
Can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Huh?
Do you know Anthony?
No. I don't know, like half the people in there. There you go, Gary. It's sending. Give it a minute.
Can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Huh?
Do you know Anthony?
No. I don't know, like half the people in there.
Matt, let's get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Matt Robinson, and welcome to Speak Out. Erase, Eliminating Racism and Seeking Equity, is happy to present today's Youth Forum event. Erase looks to eradicate racism of all forms, promote activism, and improve equity through diversity in Irondequoit, New York, and surrounding communities. Through advocacy and policy contact, business engagement contact, community engagement contact, and educational systems contact. You can find us on our Facebook public page at facebook.com/erasenow619. As part of Black History Month, we hope to give BIPOC youths, that's Black and Indigenous people of color, a platform to express themselves in a comfortable space. We want the voices of our young people to be heard and encourage them to make a difference as future leaders. Issues of race and equity, both locally and nationally, have come to the forefront and are a lightning rod for conversations amongst friends, households, and throughout social media. While Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and other platforms provide us with a platform to express viewpoints on race and equity, the emotional toll that comes with it can impact relationships and create a deeper divide within our community. Today, we feature students from both East and West Arundecoit schools. Our student moderator today is Tylea Payne Harley, a sophomore at West Arundecoit High School. She's a member of the Mosaic Diversity Club at the West Arundecoit School District, and she will be taking over this forum and introducing our student panelists for this event. Tylea?
Hello, everyone. This panel is dedicated to Daniel Prude, so I'd like to just start with a statement from Erase. Our Erase Irondequoit community offers its sincerest condolences to Daniel Prude's family. We continue to be saddened and outraged that Daniel Prude's family's cry for help was met with hostile, homicidal RPD response. We are outraged that Daniel Prude did not receive our Rochester community's best compassionate response in a dire, sad situation. It is undeniable that when Daniel Prude showed up sick and pain, our police displayed they were ill-equipped to recognize that, and rather than offer aid, chose to inflict harm. And now I'm just going to go over some of the rules.
Tylea, we have a piece of art first. We have
Okay.
we have some music
All right.
by East Arundecoit teen Brandon Howe.
Hi, my name is Brandon Howe. I'm 16 years old, and I face social injustice not only in my personal life, but in my school life as well. Discrimination and prejudice is not something that should be taken lightly, and here's my opinion on the matter. Black. Look. It's sad to see that black is only seen if we got zeros. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. But I don't let my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos. Being loud and counting kilos. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. I know that my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos. It's real, I'm trying to get mine and fulfill. My brothers out there in them fields and they dying to kill. Lying to steal, I'm shining so I'm climbing that hill. Denying my skills, a sign that you is trying to get killed. Lyrically, of course, feel the need to still proceed with cause. Cause we still perceive the killing. Yes, I will defeat the norm. We'll get even with them evil pigs. I'm built to beat the law. With skill to beat a wildebeest, willed in a silky piece of cloth. It's sad to see that black is only seen if we got zeros. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. Cause I know that my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos. Being loud and counting kilos. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. I know that my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos. The problem with me is honestly the policies of the economy. See, I'll honestly never be seen as an anomaly. Cause niggas only know the hooper, jot, and the sheet. Like I can never earn a college degree. Like my ancestors wasn't excellent and obviously queens, profiting kings, doing godly shit and conquering things. That's why they always buy their sound, try to copy our bling. Cause they know that we were gods before the cotton we sling. Yes, I hope to beat the odds and be a dominant king, but I might be stopped by a cop while driving and shot and deceased. Might be out for a gang that's iron and locked to the streets, or I might be popped by a minor rocking a Glock with they teeth. When I say I speak for all with African elements, basking in excellence, passionate, immaculate brethren. How the hell you think you better cause you lacking in melanin, but mad cause I rap with elegance and black and intelligent. It's sad to see that black is only seen if we got zeros. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. Cause I know that my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos. Being loud and counting kilos. Rumors that we only stupid crooks, I'm out to kill those. I know that my people no doubt can amount to heroes. But black is only seen as being loud and counting kilos.
Yeah. Sorry.
Take it away, Tylea.
I guess at this point, the panelists can just introduce themselves. So I'll just start with one person. Amari Barnes. Wait, should I? Okay.
Amari,
Do
you're
you
on
wanna-
mute. Student panelists, make sure you're off of mute so that Tylea can introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'll move on to Anthony Aponte.
Hi, my name is Anthony Aponte. I'm a senior at Arundecoy High School, and I started going to West Arundecoy in 2nd grade through Urban Suburban.
Mhm. Tyra Oglesby.
Hi, my name is Tyra. I'm also a senior at Arundecoy High School. I've been in West Arundecoy since kindergarten, and I'm a vice.
Ronnie Guerra.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Garo. I'm a senior at West Arundecoy High School. I've been there since 7th grade year, and I play varsity football.
Jerry Odie.
Hi, my name's Jerry O'Day. I'm a junior at Eastridge High School. I've been at East Arundecoy since 4th grade. So
Giovanni Santana.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Santana. I'm a sophomore at school that was, and I always been a city kid. So I always went to a city school.
I guess I'll begin with some of the questions. Okay. What are your opinions on your school's efforts to deal with racism? And anybody can talk first.
I feel like, personally speaking, I haven't really seen the efforts until 2020, like when a lot of racial tension and a lot of things happened in 2020. So I feel like that's when they really tried to start enforcing it. I didn't really see it until then.
I agree with that. Because like before the whole George Floyd situation, we've never had like a talk about race unless it was in like history class or it was Black History Month. And now like after, you know what I'm saying, the events and the protests and all that, like there are like a lot of discussions in class and like a lot of people trying to educate other people and all that. But I mean, they're making a better effort now, which is, I mean, good, but back then they didn't. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like this year, like I've seen a lot more like in my English class and social studies class and stuff like that where they talk about it. Like before it was kind of just like they would kind of avoid the topic if they could.
Has everyone gone?
I agree too because like, you know, they really ain't speak about it until, you know, the whole George Floyd thing, you know, that's when some of our students started, you know, joining into the protests and everything. And, you know, that's when, you know, I agree with everyone, you know, that's when everyone started talking about it in class and everything. So they ain't started until 2020, put an effort.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Me personally,
Oh,
I
no,
feel
you
like
can go. I'm
everyone.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, she could go first.
Okay, I also agree. I feel like now with everything going on, our school has definitely been pushing and trying to get us to focus more on Black history and definitely incorporating it more into the things that we do every day, especially like, for example, our school, we do daily quotes by different Black people, and I think that that's really important.
Yeah, I noticed a change this year too, and like how they talk about racism and stuff like that. Like last year, we didn't really talk about it at all. And since I'm like Native American, we never talked about Native Americans at all in my school. and we're on Native American land. So now this year we're actually talking about Native Americans and what it came from. So I think that this year has really changed.
I definitely agree. I feel like they've always taken kind of like a color blindness approach to like students of color, and they've never really acknowledged us. I guess we can move on to the next question. What experiences with racism or discrimination have you experienced?
I've experienced it firsthand with people like making fun of me about being Native American, like making native noises to me and stuff like that. And they don't get that it's offensive. They think that they're just joking, but really they don't realize what led up to that happening. So I think this is helping with showing this is what other cultures are and how offensive it could be.
Can I speak towards racism I've like and discrimination I've seen from other people, like not Black, like but Asian? Can I speak on that, or do you only want to hear from like my experience?
You can talk about it.
All right, so oftentimes, I mean, as kids, this started as when we were kids, and it wasn't just with like Asian people, it's with Black people as well, but specifically with Asian people, what people will do, like they'll use these terms we all heard, like ling ling, ching ching, all that, and like I thought that was just gonna be the joke as like little kids, and we were, you know, ignorant, we didn't know any better. But like just last year, before COVID hit and we were taken out of school, like I just see people, this one girl specifically, no names, but just targeting another person, making fun of them and all that. I'm like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen, that's like one example of racism that I've seen. Growing up, just because I'm like Nigerian or African, like same thing with I forgot his name, but what he said when they were making like native noises to him, they were making African noises, whatever that would be, clicking noises, you know what I'm saying? Like just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like impersonate whatever they thought an African was. But it wasn't nothing extreme, but just like subtle racism that I've experienced. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, what I faced, like, you know, back then, like, you know, what Ronnie was saying, like, you know, some people joke around, they'll be like, oh, go across the border where you from or like that. And I took it offensive because, like, me, I'm not even Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican, so I didn't cross no border because Puerto Rico is part of the US. But even at that, like, you know, just to be like, I got offensive just being, you know, Hispanic because, like, you know, some people come to the United States for a better, you know, better life and everything. And some people, they just think it's a joke, but, you know, some people take it, you know, different way, you know, and that's, you know, I didn't really face nothing that bad, but, you know, a couple people said that to me and I just, you know, took it to the heart.
I feel like in my school, it's more so a predominantly white school. So with a lot of the music we listen to, there's like different use of like N-word and stuff. And they just feel like they can use it sometimes. And I find that pretty offensive because I feel like the Black community, we've really spoken out about it plenty of times, but they don't always listen. So that gets a little irritating.
Yeah, I mean, the only like, so the stuff at like my school that I've seen a lot of like microaggression kind of stuff, you know, like nothing really direct or like very like it's stuff that you would have to know, like, you know what I mean, like microaggressions and like kind of like underlying stuff that has happened, you know, just throughout the school. And kind of like Tyra said, like that kind of stuff has happened, or like messages of kids saying different stuff, you know, during like the whole 2020 in the summer. Like a lot of people got exposed for like a lot of the things that they were saying behind the scenes, and it's just a lot more common than you think, like at schools like ours.
That's a fact. A lot of people were being like exposed for the stuff that they were saying. Like some people who might look like allies were like really saying the N-word in a rap video or something. Like I know there's a couple examples from my school. Now again, not going to list any names, but a couple of people who were caught on camera, you know what I'm saying the N-word when it wasn't supposed to. And yeah.
All right,
I also feel like though people, oh sorry.
I also
You
feel
can
like
go on.
people aren't like educated enough to know that that's offensive, but they just think that it's normal because they hear everybody else doing it. But really, they don't know like that's part of our people's culture. That's why they do it. So you doing it doesn't make it the same way. It's different from as if it's coming from that person in their race.
Honestly, I feel what aggravates me, I'm sorry to cut in, but what aggravates me the most is I feel like after all these years of us telling you that it's wrong for you to say, as I'm not saying you, but like as a white person to say the N-word, you know at this point, like you know, and to still say it, you know what I'm saying? It's like you doing that junk on purpose. That's what makes me mad. Like the saying it, knowing you can't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why. Probably to get a reaction or something like that. I don't know.
I did see it on TikTok the other week, and they made it a trend. So it was basically like some celebrity, I guess, got caught saying it, and so a bunch of white people made videos saying it and saying like they're doing it too. Like it was like hundreds of videos and made it a trend. So that's why I feel like there's definitely a lot of people who know and are doing it to aggravate the situation, or like I don't know, like what would be the word? I guess just out of I don't know the word, not really ignorance, because if you know, it's not ignorance, it's just yeah.
Let's circle back to this towards the end if we do have some time, but we do have some more questions that we want to get to. So Tylea, if you can move on to the next question. Very good comments from everyone so far, and keep the energy going.
All right. Did you participate in any BLM protests during the summer? And was it surprising seeing your classmates support a BLM?
Me personally, I didn't, support, like, I mean, I supported, but I didn't go to the protests and stuff like that. But, like, I seen a lot of classmates doing it, and I like that, because people, stand up for their freedom and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it, but me personally, I didn't participate.
I did participate. I went to a couple of protests, some that went well, and then like some that got hectic. What surprised me wasn't the people who I thought would support it did support it, and some people who like didn't think would support it did support it. But like I saw people, it was more like temporary support for some people, not for everyone. Like they would have Black Lives Matter up in their bio or something for like a week or two. And then once like Black Lives Matter wasn't trending anymore, they would just take it down. So it was just like, where do you really support Black lives, or are you just doing it real quick to try and, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I have to say.
I agree with Jerry. I seen that a lot too. Like, cause I went to a couple protests myself, and I seen that the same way. Like, a lot of people would say, "Yeah, Black Lives Matter. That's the way to go." And then, like 2 weeks later, after it all died down, don't even talk about it no more. So that they're in the moment, they want to be part of it, and then they're not. So it's either you're in it for the wrong one, or you're just not there. That's how I believe it should be.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen, like, especially in my school, a lot of performative activism, but I've also seen a lot of like genuine activism, which is cool, you know. So it's definitely both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I agree. I've also seen it like as a trend, like some people were just doing it because other people were, but no, I really felt like it really showed that like we as a community can get together and we can promote change. Like I was just really happy that I was able to see that.
I feel like a lot of my peers took the time to educate themselves on Black lives, especially now with everything going on. But I also have seen a lot of people use it as a trend, I guess. So yeah.
All right. Have you ever felt like you had to change your appearance or code switch to make others feel comfortable?
I did, because as a Native American, we grow our hair long and we usually braid it. And about like in 7th grade, people used to make fun of me about it constantly. Tyra and Anthony probably seen it before when they're in school with me. People would make fun of me for it. So I cut my hair because people kept making fun of me about it, saying I had a mullet, a rat tail, and stuff like that. So I felt like I had to change myself to be accepted.
Yeah, a lot of code switching had to happen. I think that's just common with a lot of I know it is very common for Black people. But I think people of color in general, like it's just a normal going into the workplace or into school. I gotta be a different person. I mean, I'm not myself is like, I'm not a bad person, but yeah, I just have to code switch. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on that too. Because, like, when I talk to certain people, I got to talk properly or professionally, because, if I be at the wrong place, at the wrong time, if I don't code switch, it might be game over for me. I might get arrested. I might get, killed. It's just anything just in general, anything can happen. And, even when I go outside, I just pretty much got to talk properly. I really can't, really be myself in a way.
Yeah, I think, oh, sorry. Who was going?
Okay. I was just saying that like I'm in like student council and like different clubs of like leadership, and I felt like, well, now I feel pretty confident in like who I am, and I'm gonna state my opinion and share my ideas, but I didn't always feel like that. I definitely felt like I kind of had to be quieter, a little more reserved, because I didn't want to be doing too much, if that makes sense. And also I feel like it kind of took me till high school to really embrace my natural hair, because you would always get questions, oh, can I touch your hair? Why does it look like that? Why does it curl like that? But now I say I'm pretty confident in who I am.
And we live in a world today where people so quick to judge a book by its cover without even opening the book. And I don't like that, like me personally, I always try to put myself in their shoes and, try to understand them. I'm not so quick to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because it took me like forever to like wear my natural hair, because people would be like, oh, did you get electrocuted or something? Like it was, it was kind of embarrassing. And then I would have to speak a certain type of way, or they'd be like, oh, she's the loud, angry Black girl or something like that. So this kind of, all right, let's move into another question. How did you feel about the insurrectionists at the Capitol building? Did you notice the difference between BLM protesters and insurrectionists?
I feel like that situation made me really uncomfortable and upset, because with the BLM protesters, the police used rubber bullets and they also used the tear gas to kind of antagonize us and silence us from fighting for what we believe in. But then when they stormed the Capitol building, they really didn't have any consequences and they walked out unharmed, and nothing was really done about that. So
I mean, the fact that they even were able to get in, like, if it showed like the difference of the security, like when there was BLM outside, like they wouldn't even have gotten past the yard. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just a completely different response.
Yeah, I feel like it just showed the clear racial double standard in our country. Things are not just, they're not fair.
And even not the people like that weren't there, like the people who were like at home and supporting the fact that they were storming the Capitol. There was a person at my school, like he was mocking the Black Lives Matter protest, talking about, oh, we're gonna show you how it's really done, all you rioters, something. And then like literally after he said that, they stormed the Capitol and rioted and everything. So it was just like crazy to see that people like supported the idea of doing it, knowing that like that was wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like they do that because they kind of put a blind shoulder to it. They want to put it in the past tense, like we don't see it. But if it's other race, we want to make sure we stop it right then and there. But it's okay for them to do it because they're our color, and it's okay for them to do it. That's all I feel like it is.
Right, I hear you.
And over a vote at that, you know how minuscule it really is. You know what I mean? Over losing. It was all that over losing a vote.
Yeah, for me, I just remember like seeing the noose, like pictures of nooses like outside of the Capitol building. That was insane to me. Like people, it's just crazy. All right.
Can I speak on it before you go to the next question? Pretty much like I felt that like I felt some way because like, you know, like, okay, for an example, when the Black Lives Matter, when we did the protests, so many cops, so many people, actually military people in the Capitol. And then when it was their turn, like there was barely even cops there. They took forever to, take everybody out. But if it was us, they'll quick to shoot us. They're quick to do anything. And I don't find that fair.
All right. Many people of color lost their lives as a result of racist violence in 2020. How did any of these affect you personally?
Thankfully, I haven't lost any family members to like police brutality. Very thankful, or any like close friends. But I feel like seeing a lot of names, like as during the protest, when they say their names, they would like list off names. Hearing all those names, it's like it's now my duty to take that personal. Like I can't not take it personal when all of my, like a lot of my people are, you know what I'm saying, being targeted. So thankfully, no one close to me has been affected, you know what I'm saying, from police brutality. But like, I take it personal when it's someone of my color and it's racism. Yeah.
Sorry, you go, Jew.
Yeah, okay. Luckily, what Jerry said, luckily I didn't have, nobody that I'm close with, family that, died over that. But, pretty much kind of opened my eyes what this world become to, what it has become. And I have to be more careful now when I go outside. And, and I seen, like, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I seen this on social media, on Instagram. I think it was mostly in the West Coast. It was this Mexican man, getting beat up by, two cops out of nowhere, and he yelling and stuff while his wife and kids right there in front of them. And it's just crazy because it's like, how you gonna do that? And his kids right there, and he's screaming for help, and it was really hurtful to see that, especially on social media.
It hasn't really, thankfully, it hasn't affected me personally, but it did open my eyes to see that stuff. Like, for instance, the 9-year-old girl that got pepper sprayed, that opened up my eyes to see, like, I second guess the police to see if they're actually there to protect us or if there's something else. Because you don't know. One minute you have a good cop, and the next minute the cop could be here beating you up for no reason, thinking that you had a gun for something. So it makes me second guess the police force.
All right, that fits right into our next question. What are your thoughts on
Before you move on, Talia, I'm sorry, I wanted to jump in a little sooner, but I wanted to ask specifically the young men, if you guys have been talked to about how to conduct yourselves during a police stop, if the police ever question you. Have you ever been talked to about that?
Oh yeah, I've been talked to like way back in the day. This like before I was big enough to sit in the passenger seat or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was told like from an early age, you need to, you know what I'm saying, hands on the dashboard, you know what I'm saying? Talk to them with respect. Don't reach for nothing. Don't make no sudden movements, you know what I'm saying? Don't be rude. Just a whole bunch of things. Like I've been taught that from a young age, taught that now, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of my peers have been taught, peers of color have been taught that too.
Yeah, I was taught that too. Like I was taught, like just like my mom would always say, you could get a lawyer later. She's like, you can figure it out later. Don't argue with them in the moment. We could figure it out later. Just do what they say in the moment, because I've incidences that have happened to cousins and people that I know with run-ins and stuff like that, where it has been issues and they've just had to she just said, just listen to what they say and we can figure it out later.
Yeah, I've been taught that too. Just say yes, sir, yes, ma'am to the police officer, and just look at them and just keep your hands where they could see them, and just be cautious of everything that you're doing. So that way you don't set them off or show them something that they think's a threat.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Jerry and everybody. Pretty much that's how I was taught to. Just do what they say, and try not to best, to alert them or, think you got something or whatever the case is.
Also, like when they pull up to the car, keep your hoodie down. You know what I'm saying? My mom doesn't want me to wear like a do-rag and a hoodie. One, when I'm out, but also like when I'm driving, if I'm ever pulled over by a cop, put my hood down, like ask for permission to reach for something instead of just, oh yeah, I have my license and registration right here. Let me just go grab it. Like ask for permission. Is it cool if I do this? You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Let's open that up to everyone, to the females on the youth panel as well. What are your thoughts on this issue?
I feel like men definitely have to be more careful than women. I feel like men have it harder, especially with the police. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I was taught the same thing, like by my dad personally. Like, just do what they say, you know, because like he worries about it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say, Black men, it's more like important for them to like really be educated on it, but also now females too, because it's been shown on female and males that police brutality can happen to either one of them. So yeah, I was definitely taught to comply.
Yeah, same for me. I think that kind of like Sandra Bland definitely changed the conversation. Like I heard about, Trayvon Martin, and Mike Brown, but definitely changed my viewpoints. Or I guess we'll move on to the next question. What are your thoughts on Rochester police pepper spraying a 9-year-old girl?
I think that was ignorant of the cops, because obviously, like, why would why would you hurt a little girl? Like, yeah, I feel like it shouldn't got to that point where you would even want to think to pepper spray, a little girl. Just like they should just took the situation like more calm with it. It was so ignorant that, and it even I seen we started trending on Twitter over that. And that should not be out there. We, Rochester City being, known for, for that on social media.
Yeah, that was really disgusting. Like I heard it. I heard it before I watched the video. Like when I heard it, I'm like, you're lying. Like there's no way a 9-year-old girl was handcuffed and pepper sprayed. Like I don't think grown men and women needed to put a 9-year-old in handcuffs. And they were telling her that like she was acting like a child and like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, first of all, she is a child. She's panicked. She doesn't know you people and you're trying to put her in your car. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to handcuff her. And like, I don't know, that situation was handled terribly. Like it should have been handled way better. I think all the cops involved who either the ones who handcuffed her, the ones who pepper sprayed her, the ones who didn't check the other officers, they all need to be held accountable. Because that was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. I feel like they should have training for situations like that to show them what to do during those situations instead of going right to pepper spraying somebody or pulling their gun out. Because well, that's their family member that's going through. They wouldn't want that to happen to them. So why would you do that to somebody else's family member? You should take the same accountability that you would if somebody did that to your family to somebody else's.
That's what I always say. People just have to put things in their perspective. Most people have someone in their family that's around 9 years old or a little kid. And, the argument that I've heard was that she wasn't listening and stuff, but kids don't listen. That's kids. That doesn't mean you escalate immediately to pepper spraying. So I definitely agree with Ronnie that there has to be better systems in place because that's not how that should have been handled at all.
I definitely agree. And I honestly believe that if that was a white little girl, the situation definitely would have it would have escalated.
That's a fact.
And I definitely feel like the police need to be better equipped with like mental health calls because it's the same with Daniel Prude. It's mental health and like they clearly are not equipped for those situations. And it's just disgusting. And it worries me because I have a younger sister, and it's just crazy.
Right. I couldn't imagine something like that happening to my little cousins. Like imagine that would set me off. Like, I think it should be mandatory for like police to be like properly taught how to de-escalate situations instead of handcuff them or pepper spray them or reach for your gun. Like, no, that's not how you de-escalate a person. That's only going to make it worse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I don't think that it's like, if it was a white person, that it would be different. I feel like it's more just a stereotype because because it was a black person, it's not, it's bad, like for us, right? But say it was a white person, it would be the same thing. Like we would kind of be on the back shore and not really care about it, but we're still talking about it. That's crazy. So it's like, it got to be both ways. No, not one person be like, oh yeah, that's not fair to my people. And then if it happens to somebody else, it can't be like that. But it has to be both ways. It has to be bad. If it's bad on both sides, that's what happens. Can't think that it's just one race and that's the ultimate one. Not saying it, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to say it's like,
yeah, I think I get you. I hear you, but I really do think that they would have handled that if that was a little white girl, they would have handled that so different. Like, I think since it was a black girl, you know what I'm saying? They didn't look at her the same way they would, because they were white. Like, they have little white girls in their family. They don't treat their little white girls in their family the same way they would a black girl. So I honestly just think that they just looked at her completely different just because she was black. Like, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Oh,
Sorry, you could go. Yeah.
Oh,
you
right.
got it.
I just feel like, like society in general, like they look at little black girls and they look at them as older. You know what I mean? Like whether like you can't have your hair straightened until you're like a little bit older, or you can't wear like red nail polish because like an older man is going to be looking at you. And that's exactly how the police looked at her. And that's why she was treated that way. And that's why he said like, oh, like you're acting like a child and like she's really 9. Does anybody else have any more comments before I move on to that?
I think there's definitely a difference in how people see like different races based on age, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that I've heard a lot, like in scene where if it's a black kid, they expect them to act older, you know what I mean, than their age. But in how it's a difference, if it was a white girl acting out, then it may be considered a mental health case or, something like that, or she may just be emotional. But then if it's a black girl, then it's defiance. So I think there's definitely a big difference in how people see stuff and word stuff depending on race.
And that's why too, like most of us, we have to grow up, faster at a young age because of the things that's going around us and pretty much how we were raised, because of the situations that we face.
That's a fact.
And that's why most of us have to, grow up at a young age quicker than others,
All right, I guess I'll move on to the next question. What has been your experience with having or not having a teacher of color?
I personally, I'm in 10th grade currently, and I've only had one teacher of color in 6th grade, like throughout all my years of school. And it's just like crazy to think about because I like never really thought about it at first, but like she pointed it out once to me, and like just to think about how I've only had one like throughout all these years of school, it's just crazy to think about. And I definitely like wish it was different for sure. And my sister personally hasn't even had one, so it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think like I remember back in middle school, I think we had the same teacher. But anyways, so I think back in middle school we used to joke like about how that one African American teacher was the only black she was the only black teacher, but she was one of like few black staff, right? So we were just like, we used to joke about it, but now it's like, dang, like I really only had one black teacher in my entire life. All my grades have all been white teachers, you know what I'm saying? And white teachers aren't bad, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? I have nothing against them, but like we need more diversity, and not just black teachers, like all teachers of color, you know what I'm saying? Like they need to make their, not just the student body, I'm sorry, I know, I don't want to talk too much, but not just the student body needs to be diverse. Like there needs to be diverse staff, not just students, but yeah.
I believe the same thing. I feel like they should have it diverse because of my high school career, I've only had one black teacher. And I feel like it's good to have experiences with other teachers of different races because they could teach you different ways of how they grew up to help you grow as a person. Unlike just not saying like it's a stereotype, but like white people kind of do it, like white teachers kind of do it the same thing, same routine, the same way that they talk to you. Like if you have a different teacher, they might come to at a different level to get to you.
I'm
Right.
a
I think,
senior now. Oh,
yeah. Go ahead. I'll talk after.
I'm a senior now, and I had one in 6th grade and this year actually, and it just really showed, like, her name's Miss Williams. So I'm just shout her out because I really like her as a teacher, and it really just shows, like, I like when there's more diversity in staff because, like, it just shows like Black people in those positions. Like, in all my years of schooling, you don't see many like Black teachers, and it just shows that, yeah, okay, a Black female, yeah, I can become a teacher one day if I want to. It's just more so inspirational to me to see, and we need that a lot more.
Yeah, and me, I only had one African American teacher, which was my freshman year last year. But besides that, like, I had just, Caucasian teachers. And yeah, like, when I was younger, elementary days, I was in the bilingual class. So yeah, I had a couple, Hispanics teachers that obviously knew English too. But other than that, I only had one African American teacher, and that was until last year, my global teacher, my freshman year.
Any other comments on this issue?
Yeah,
Before
I want to speak
go
to
ahead.
what the last lady said. She said that it like lets other Black students know, like, yeah, I could become a teacher. Like, that really is like inspirational. Seeing someone of your own color in like a position of influence, because teachers have a huge influence on us, not just to educate us, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, help us out immensely. I know a lot of teachers who are there past, educational help. Like, they'll just sit there and talk to you. And having a teacher of color that can relate to you on, this level, that's like big and yeah, impactful. So yeah.
I just want to add a little something about my personal experience. I grew up in a small town outside of Rochester, not a pretty good African-American population. But in my educational experience, I had 2 teachers, and I just find that very just mind-blowing that in this day and age, we don't have more teachers of color working with our young people. And one teacher in particular made it a point every February, the students were assigned a prominent person in Black history to do research, present a report, and that report would be posted throughout the hallways in school. And that was a way for the people that I grew up to learn a little bit about Black history. And to this day, we still have friends that comment on what a blessing that was to have that in our community. So just wanted to add that to you guys, that this has been going on for quite some time, and hopefully forums like this will move this issue forward. You can go ahead, Tylea. Or
can I speak on something real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, I have something to say too.
Yeah, and I love, I love my global teacher I had last year that's African American. I had it for 2 classes actually, for global and then like this like homeroom kind of thing. And so what I was that we have kind of like homeroom. And I always ask her, for advice. She pretty much talked to me about, things how, things she had, faced when she grew up. And she kind of, gave me advice about life and just in the classroom and just pretty much anything. She always looked out for me. She became kind of like a school mom to me.
Does anyone else want to speak? All right, I guess I'll move on to the next question. If a situation occurs, do you feel it's your responsibility to educate your peers on racism?
I think it is, because a lot of them grow up not knowing about other races, especially like I've noticed like in Irondequoit, because it's a small community. Everyone's like with each other. They're not around this. Like in the city, everyone's different races. You have whites, you have Blacks, you have Hispanics, you have everyone. But like in these suburban areas, it's just they're all one race and they just all come together. So they don't really, they think that they know, but they don't know about how other people's races are and how they like, interact with each other.
Yeah, I agree. I have done a lot of like educating other people on Black issues, but also educating myself on other people of color issues. I think it's good, like even as a person of color, to like not only think, oh, Black people are oppressed, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of other oppression going on. And I think it's very important for all people, no matter what, you know what I'm saying, gender, race, no matter what you are, you should take the time to educate yourself on like other issues outside of your own.
Yeah, that's what like personally, like, so if it's an issue like regarding like my race or something like that, I'll educate people. But if it's like issue regarding, like Black people or something like that, I educate myself, but I'm like careful not to, I guess speak over people, I guess, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to like, I don't know what would be the word, I guess, but to be like educating people on something that like that's not me. So like if it's a Hispanic related issue, I definitely will. But like if it's another race or something like that, I educate myself on it.
Yeah, if I need to in a moment, I will, like tell people, like kind of like, tell them, because like some people might take it offensive, especially my school, there's a lot of, different types of races of there's Arabs, there's, people from, all over the place. And, me, I love, expanding. I love, knowing new things every day. I always ask them in class in the hallways, like, I always ask them questions about their culture, try to, educate myself. And that's one thing about me. I love asking questions. I love, learning new things.
Yeah, I agree. I've found that I've just definitely had to educate myself more and just come from a place of trying to educate them and not coming from a place of being angry or being hurt. I just had to really learn how to like actually handle the situation, how to actually talk to people without, coming off with aggression.
Should I move on to the next question? All right. What is one thing you wish the school administration would do in the next 3 to 5 years to address some of the challenges we talked about?
Inform people, like actually have sit downs like throughout the year, have like a certain day that you just learn about different cultures instead of your own. But you go to different classes, you have a different person from a different race teaching you about their culture and how they operate in their country or from where they're from. So you get the background knowledge from everybody else and okay, this is how they are. This is why I don't say the things that I say and stuff like that.
Right, that's a fact. I think, well, one of the issues we talked about, lack of Black staff. I think there needs to be more Black staff, more just staff of color in general, and not just Hispanic teachers that teach Spanish. Like I want to, you know what I'm saying? That's good. You know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing, but I want to see them teaching math too, or history or English. You know what I'm saying? Like, but also like not just have Black lessons on Black History Month. Like my school, and there's like in all grades, really like, I mean, I don't know. They're lacking in that Department of Education for Black contributions outside of Black History Month. We should be learning about it. Like what's his name? Like dude said, he was like, you know what I'm saying, we should have different classes for it. And I agree with that. So yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, like I've honestly like learned more about Black history from my friends and from social media than I have in school, which is like crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff like, and that's what I've heard. Like a lot of the stuff like in school, we hear about like the slavery and MLK and Rosa Parks, and then it's kind of just like after that, it's kind of just like they created like everything was done after that, like it was a wrap. But there's just a lot more to the story, and just a lot more like interesting stuff. Like not even just bad stuff too. There's just like when like so much history from Africa and stuff like that, like that they have and that I've learned from social media and stuff like that, and not like reading stuff and reading articles and watching stuff that I haven't even learned in school.
Can I say something real quick? And like, I gotta like agree to what you just said. I learned way more on like Black contributions through social media. like I'm sure we're all familiar with TikTok. I've learned so much from like, I mean, it's not even just like I took this information and ran with it. Like I see this, oh, really? Is that the thing? And then I do my own research. I look it up. And I'm just like, wow, we really never learned any of this stuff. We only learned about MLK, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe Michael Jordan. And that was it. Like there are so many African Americans who contributed to this country that we didn't even learn about. That's all I had to say.
Can I say something too? I believe like as a Native American, we should learn more about my culture, especially because a lot of Native American land we live on today. Like all of us live on Native American land today and nobody knows about it. You ask somebody what's a Mohawk tribe? Everyone will be like, what is that? I had never heard of it. So you got to inform people what it is because that's an important part of history. They're the first people that were in America that started everything for us. Without Native Americans, we wouldn't know what to do. We'll still be living under freaking trees or in caves right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I believe. I believe like we need to have diversification and actually learn about other cultures because we don't learn nothing about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
like our social studies department as a whole just needs a lot of change. Like regarding like multiple races, not just, Black History Month. Like we need to learn it throughout the year and also learn about different races because like I know I don't even know much. Well, I know much more now, but I didn't really know much about my own culture until I really did my own research. So I think schools should definitely take more time to put that into their curriculum.
Let's hear
Yeah,
from some more females on this panel regarding this issue. Just interested in hearing your voice on this as well.
Can I speak on something?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I agree. I feel like we should learn about Black history not only in history class, but try to incorporate it in all subjects like math, science, whatever. And I feel like it's really important to educate others as well because I feel like I don't know a lot about my history and I've had to go on TikTok and other things like that in order to gain that information. So I think that that's important.
Yeah, and I feel like we should learn about other cultures too. Whether it's Hispanic, Asians, or just pretty much anything. I want to learn different cultures. Like I feel like we should just all they should all just spread out and just pretty much know about every culture. Because a lot of people come to this world just to be have freedom. Because some people in their own culture they can't even go to school or situations like that. And then they come to this world where they get, slang storam or whatever, they get bashed and it's just like they come here for a better life and, they got it worse or, whatever the case is.
Aaliyah, do you want to go?
Yeah, I was just gonna say pretty much the same thing. I just wish there was more I wish they would expand on the curriculum and social studies especially. Just because just like Jerry said, I've learned a lot through TikTok in the past few months, and I've learned in school about Black history, and that's really disappointing that I have to go through a social media app or Google to find things out about my culture rather than learning about it in school.
I definitely agree with that because I feel like with a lot of kids I go to school with, what they know about students of color is based on the internet or what they hear around their parents. So it's always negative. You know what I mean? I feel like we never have the opportunity to explain ourselves or even through the education system. Does anybody else have any more comments?
Yeah, same thing kind of with music too. Music can really, really be a big difference too. I always grew up, always being around African Americans and, at parties and stuff like that. I just love, a lot of, different cultures, dancing to, Hispanic music or whatever the case is. I just love that, because it's really, it's a vibe, and it's just everyone's kind of getting together, and just have a good time.
All right, I'll move on to the last question. Do you have a support system that you can rely on? If so, who is part of your support circle and why?
Do you mean in our own personal life or school wise?
Your personal life.
Well, okay. Can I speak on both?
Yeah, you can speak on both.
All right. So yeah, I have close friends who are good for support, but school, particularly particularly, like I said, teachers and other staff, not just teachers, like staff who works in the counseling office, they have, a huge impact on students. So I'm glad, very thankful that I had a couple of staff from my school, shout out Miss Fountain, shout out Miss McGee, who like were there for me and are still there for me. I know that I can take my issues to them, and even Miss Fountain as a I hope, I don't want to, like, I hope it's okay to speak on her, but it's all positive things. Like, even as like a white woman, she takes the time to educate herself on issues that she doesn't have. You know what I'm saying? She'll, even though like she may not experience them, she'll try and meet you on that level of understanding. I feel Miss McGee as a woman of color, she is like, she can understand the issues that I'm going through on a like different level. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to have those support systems, and I appreciate them.
Yeah, I agree with Jay. Like, I have a support cast with my friends, yeah, but like inside school, I have a good support system as well. Like, I broke my leg 2 years ago, and I was like really down on myself for it. And I had a couple of teachers that would like help me through it. They'd talk to me every day, check up on me and stuff like that. Like, shout out to James and Phil. There's 2 security guards at our school. I know I could go and talk to them if I'm having a bad day, and they could get a laugh out of me or cheer me up and get me happy. So that's good to have a support cast inside of school and outside.
Yeah, same with me, friends, family, and some teachers, shout out to Mary Magana and Mary Mon too. I just seen them some few, but they're Caucasian, and they pretty much grew up Caucasian, they in Caucasian, like, little towns or whatever. And, she'll always, talk to me, always ask me questions about, my culture and everything, and, my type of music. And I could talk to her about pretty much anything, whether it's problems I face, growing up, or just anything, she could relate to me. She could, she really helps me out. I could come to her about anything.
I feel like my support system more so stems from my home life and my friends, but at school, I was able to come to Miss Crystal and Miss Maldonado about, different issues within our school, and they definitely heard us out and definitely listened. And we were able to like start Heritage Months from that. So I think it is definitely helpful having people in our school or staff specifically that we can go to and we feel comfortable going to, that we know are going to listen to us and make change happen.
Amara, do you have anything to say?
Not really. I was just gonna agree with Jerry. Miss Fountain has been or played a big role in my school career and helping me and supporting me. She's somebody that I always go to and I always talk to if I ever need help, ever need anything. And she's always educating herself and trying to push different things for our school to be more diverse and to definitely include us into more of the curriculum. So.
Aaliyah?
Yeah, I agree. I have Miss Fountain as well, and I feel like it's really like nice, like to see Caucasian teachers, really take the time and dedication into like showing the importance and educating herself on, a different culture. It's like really nice, and I've loved what she did during Black History Month, like in our school. She really like took the time and did a lot with that, so that was really nice.
I guess like.
Yeah, same with me. Like my one of my teachers, like I'm close with, she's the one that wanted to do the Black History Month, and in my school, and Hispanic. She pretty much runs everything of that. So her being Caucasian, she really cares about different cultures and everything. That's what I like about her. She really cares about everyone.
I think like for me personally, because I first came to West Irondequoit when I was like in the 3rd grade, and I was like really like quiet and reserved because like I'd never been around so many white people, if I'm going to be honest. And I remember like my one teacher, like she really helped me like come out of my shell and just kind of like integrate me into the classroom. Should I start with the other questions from
Yes,
the chat?
we do have some questions in the chat. If you don't mind, I'll take the first one that I saw, and I want to direct this specifically to Ronnie. Years ago, Irondequoit's mascot, logo was the Irondequoit Indians. And I think back in the mid-90s, they changed to the Irondequoit Eagles. What are your thoughts on this? And specifically, do you feel we need more education on Indigenous people as well?
My opinion on it, I liked it. I feel like it honored the Native Americans because it represented like they were changing. We're trying to go over a new leaf to show them, okay, we could change. We're not just the same people that once were when what happened with the Trail of Tears and all that, taking over the Native American land. So I feel like that's a very good thing. I also think we do need to get education on Native Americans because nobody knows about my people. Like we're kind of Stone Age. Like everyone's like, oh, they didn't do nothing. They're just there. But really, we're the founders of America where we stand today. Without us, a lot of us will not be here. So I believe like we really need that education so people can understand this is what Native Americans did for us. And the name that came to us, the Indians, that's not true where we are. We're Native Americans, we're native to America. We're not India, we're not from India. And I feel like a lot of people think that because of our name. So like a higher education will help people to realize that that's not true.
I'll say something real quick.
Yes.
I agree. I mean, of course, I agree completely with what he said. Like, I don't know. I know more, a little bit more from like social media, but only thing I knew about Native Americans was like Trail of Tears, Pilgrims. They taught them how to like plant and stuff. That was it. There is so much more that I want to learn that I don't know already because school hasn't taught it.
And that's what I believe. I feel like people should like teach them, like have Native American, not maybe like a class or something inside of schools to teach these kids at like a young age what Native Americans actually did for America. Because they took what Native Americans did and put it into our government. And not a lot of people know that because nobody wants to teach people about Native Americans.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
No,
okay.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like to be honest, like obviously not being Native American, like the only things that I really knew were just really from the extent of like it was almost like with history, like they like after like the 1800s and it just like was nothing else was mentioned when I feel like there's probably definitely a lot more to the story, like Ronnie's saying.
Tylea, do you want to ask the question about teaching? Did you see that in the chat? There's a question for the panel. I can ask it if you don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay, so what would it take for you guys, and this is open to the panel, including yourself, Tylea, what would it take for you to go into the teaching field? Anyone can answer.
Wait, I'm kind of confused by that question because I don't have the desire to teach.
Okay, so none of you feel like you want to become a teacher, beyond high school.
Yes. I have like been interested in that career.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the need for more people of color, people of different backgrounds to get into the field of education?
I feel like there needs to be more like, I don't know. I feel like growing up, I hear a lot more about like, oh, you should become a doctor, you should become a lawyer, like things with careers with more pay. I'm just being honest. But I feel like if people do like express that you can be well off as a teacher, like maybe it would attract more students, maybe.
I also feel like they try to keep like people of color out of the education because they don't want us to rub off on people and try to expand their knowledge of our culture. They try to keep it to just not trying to start like race or anything, but kind of like teaching us how they know where everything goes and not us following our ways and like how we want to be taught.
I pretty much agree with you, Ronnie. But me personally, I don't want to go down that path. But yeah, I love, and there should be more people of color. But me personally, I don't want to, I want to do something else. I don't want to go down that, education path.
I agree with what I don't know her name, but she mentioned that if schools like mention to kids that they could be better off, you know what I'm saying, have a good living as a teacher, because I think that's what stopped a lot of students is like hearing that teachers don't get paid as much as other careers and stuff. So like I feel if that was advertised more, like, oh yeah, you'll make a good living, I think that'll attract more students, because it's important to have teachers of color. So
Should I ask the next question in the chat?
Yes, go right ahead.
What is everyone's future professional and personal goals?
Mine is to be a psychologist therapist and like help in the Native American side of it, because Native Americans, we're told to just be quiet and be held on our reservations. And with that, like we go into a lot of drugs and alcohol, and that's basically they're trying to kill us out. So I want to go and be able to help them, to show them that that's not the only way, there's ways out, and show them positive ways, not negative ways of living.
I would love to become a nurse because I like helping others and I would like to impact people's lives in a positive way. So yeah.
I'd also like to go into the medical field. I want to be a physical therapist, and also I want to be able to help people. It's one of my goals in life.
Me, I want to become a therapist too. Like I want to, do everything, pretty much talk about, help children's, trauma, relationships or whatever. I love helping out people. And my other option, probably become like a forensic medical examiner. And yeah, and a lot of people, I don't really see a lot of people of color in that, field too. So, that's just some options.
well, me, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to go into the medical field or like the therapeutic field, but I don't know. I want to be a video game developer or like work with computers. Like I want to be surround, you know what I'm saying? I want that environment for myself. So I mean, it's not medical. I won't really be impacting anyone's life directly, but something I want to do. Yeah. But never mind.
Anyone else?
Aaliyah?
In my future, I'm interested in going into like law, like crime in that field. Basically just like surrounding like the courthouse, just like really interested in like being in a courtroom and bringing justice for those like marginalized voices who really can't make their voices be heard.
My bad, can I add on to this too? And I feel like, what kind of like therapists, like, a lot of people like mental health, is a really real thing. A lot of people think, oh, you'll be okay, and it happens to so many people that, they kill their life because, they try to seek out help and, ignorant people, they be like, try to block them out. And then whenever they die, and they try to play the victim, like, oh, I was there for him, stuff like that. And pretty much, trauma too, kids, go through trauma, whether, rape or love parent death. And I pretty much went through trauma too growing up. I lost my pops, I seen him dead on the floor myself. Me and my sister found him dead. And that really messed me up mentally. And obviously I got through it, but, I want to help kids, same situation that I went through. And, I feel like therapists, that's really is big because mental health is a real thing,
And
Giovanni, that takes a lot of courage for you to come out and talk about that. And I just want to give you props for recognizing that and sharing that story with us. It's very emotional for you, I'm sure, and definitely pursue that dream of yours and wanting to help people and make a better life for yourself and for others.
I also agree with Gio though too, because last year I was in varsity. I was in my first game of the year for football, and I broke my ankle. I broke my fibula, my tibula, and it was my first game of the year. So I basically lost everything with snap a finger, and I was like really down on myself. I really bad. Like I didn't even think I was gonna make it. That put through that week, I was having those thoughts in my mind, and so I got a therapist, and he actually helped me to get out of that mindset, and that's what set me to want to become a therapist, because I could see that I could change other person's perspective and their lives for a better purpose.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I think therapy for just want to speak on like young men issues, because I mean we already know like it's so common for a young man to be told to toughen up, just eat it. It's not that big of a deal. Be a man about it. I think it's really important for like what I'm saying, young men to realize that therapy is like it's important. Like mental health is important. Don't just think you gotta what I'm saying, listen to people when they say be a man about it. If you need help mentally, you need to get that help. So becoming a therapist, that's important. So go you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other questions that you're seeing in the chat, Talia?
I haven't seen one, but there is another question. The last
Go ahead.
question, I think.
Yeah.
What is your takeaway from today's event?
My takeaway is like there's all different cultures and there's all different perspectives of how we should go about going towards the same idea of going outside of racism and trying to change everyone's perspective on cultures, predominantly Black African American race, and how to change to make it a better for everybody so we could all live within one and be peaceful.
Today has really shown me that I'm not alone and that everyone has gone through something, and that there are all different types of experiences, and that everyone is going through different things right now, and that we can all help each other and work together to make the school a better place for learning and all different types of students.
I agree. It also showed me I wasn't alone. It just showed me there's other people my age that do want to make a difference. And I feel like if we really keep it up and come together, we can promote change, because I feel like our generation is just very determined and we don't like to hear no. So like we're just going to keep going for what we believe in.
Love that.
I learned from it that there is people that want to make a change, and we keep going forward with this, whether it might take years or sooner, whenever it is, but we're gonna make a change, to have my nephews and nieces to grow up a better life. They don't have to face things that we face right now, us growing up, and just wanting a better life for everyone. Nobody want to go through this.
Exactly what you said, Gio. Like, I don't want to see my nieces go through that of racism and like being talked to some type of way again, called names. I want everyone to just be one. Like, we're all the same people. We all live and breathe the air. Everyone's part of the world. So for racism, it shouldn't be even exist, because we're all fighting for one goal, and that's to be people and be free and peaceful, not violent and all that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, just my takeaway is just obviously representation matters, that's definitely a big thing, a takeaway. And even if obviously there's always going to be throughout time people who are going to be racist, who are going to be whatever, because that's just the reality. But it's just finding, just we need more ways that people are able to, obviously combat it, and people being held accountable for their actions.
I'll move on to the last question. What will you do as youth to help shift the culture to be a part of the change?
Like I said earlier, just keep people educated, inform them of information on different cultures, and not get mad if they don't know. Like, show them, hey, this is what this is. Not get mad and argue, my race is better than yours or this and that. Actually sit down with them and show them the facts so they actually know the facts, not just tell them you're this, you're that because you don't know me and my culture. Actually sit them down and show them this is why I do this and what I do.
Right. I think that's important. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing currently. Like educating others, keeping myself educated because ignorance is very dangerous. I'm gonna keep protesting on any issue outside of Black issues. If there's another race issue, you know what I'm saying? I want to be informed on it. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be active in other communities besides my own.
I agree. I feel like I don't want to just educate others. I also want to educate myself because I feel like that's really important. There's things that we need to learn daily about different things, and I feel like we should all be willing to learn and be open-minded and just look at different things and different perspectives.
I agree. I also want to keep educating myself and others, but I also just want to get involved in like other groups and other people that are trying to accomplish the same goal as me, because I actually want to be a part of it. And I just don't want to sit back at home and just watch it happen. I just want to be able to take action.
Yeah, I agree. Like just like educating and definitely like staying open-minded through it all. And honestly doing more things like this, like with other like peers and like to speak out like on everyone's experiences and like learn more. I feel like that's really important.
I would say, yeah, definitely like for me, definitely like similar to what everybody was saying, keeping an open mind, you know, just being able to listen to other people because we only know our experience, and just being more empathetic towards other people and just being able to listen to perspectives outside our own, because often like we don't realize it, but we can be so like as humans just closed-minded because we've only lived our lives, so we don't know, you know, we haven't been in anybody else's shoes. So just keeping an open mind, showing more empathy, obviously, and just being open to learn, you know, we don't know everything. So
yeah, I feel like we should just, like I said, like everyone say, you know, keep educating others and yourself too. And, you know, any situation, always try to put yourself in their shoes to see how would they feel, or how would you feel if they were, if it was dumb, or just, you know, try to really understand, you know. And yeah, pretty much just put yourself in, you know, in their shoes.
And always stay positive, like never get down or negative towards the situation, because nothing's gonna get solved if we start getting negative and start arguing with each other. If you stay positive, there's always a solution to it. But if you're negative, you're gonna just clash and nothing's gonna get done.
All right, I think that is going to kind of bring this session to a close. This has been so energetic throughout the entire conversation today. Talia, why don't you start wrapping this up, please?
To end this panel, I know I saw in the chat someone talking about any race scholarship for any seniors. So if anyone wants to apply to that. And the last thing we're going to talk about is iBach, which is an Instagram page that you can find. Basically, you can send anonymous stories about your experiences in Irondequoit, and you can see it on the screen right now. So if anybody wants to follow that page. And just thank you for everyone, you know, sharing their opinion and participating in this panel.
Yes, and thank you, students, for being a part of this today, and for our audience online. Thank you all for logging in and hearing the views and perspectives of our young people. This has been a very educational event. I hope everyone takes something from this, and I want to urge you young people to get out and vote when you turn 18. Your vote matters. I think if we take anything from the 2020 election, every vote counts. So make sure you get out, register, and exercise your right as an American citizen to vote. We want to thank the committee members of Erase for their time and energy towards this cause, and a special thanks to Logan Raft for his technical support, along with Melissa Sidor Kaufman, Kim Crystal, Sean James, Tisha Maldonado, and members of Erase for their assistance with coordinating today's event. We also want to thank Brendan Howe for his performance today. And we invite you to continue the conversation with each other, along with friends and family who are unable to join today's event. Again, go to the Irondequoit Erase Facebook page and follow the iBIPOC page on Instagram to learn more about future events. My name is Matt Robinson. It's been a pleasure being a part of this panel today. And on behalf of Tylea Payne Harley, we want to dedicate today's event again to the family of Daniel Prude. No justice, no peace. Say his name.